In this video, I want to take a look at how to control WP E-Commerce's products page, or catalog. I prefer to call it a catalog myself. This is where we get an overview of all the products and the categories. Now, I've left this all along with these boxes up at the top, and what those are our categories. And normally what we'd have is an image in there. We're going to put in an image and see what it looks like. So let's start over here under categories. And I'll just do one of these, but let's go under plates here. And you can add, here it is, category image. Okay, so I'm going to browse for a plate here. Let's just grab one of these. Let's actually do something that isn't in the catalog right now. All right, so I do that, and I could set sizing, but I'd prefer to set sizing in general for all of them at one time. So there's our little image showing right there. So if I go back to here, I don't know which one it's going to be. It's the first one there. Okay, but there's no name underneath to say plates. So let's go under Store Settings. We're going to go to Presentation. Let's see what some of our options are. All right, product display in general, we've just got default view, and we'll talk more about how all the products are displayed, but we're just looking at categories right now. And it says Show List of Categories, and we've got it set to yes. Okay. And then if I go down to here, it says Product Category Settings. We don't want the description. We could, but that gets pretty crowded, I think. We're going to show the thumbnails. Yes, let's do that. So there doesn't seem to be any way for us to show these with a title. Now, theoretically, it's going to show what it is by the image. I think it would be nice to have the wording underneath. Let's take off the thumbnails and see what happens here. So now I'm showing my categories on my products page, but instead of images, what's it going to do for me? It's still showing images, isn't it? So that didn't seem to change anything. Let's go back over to here. So what we changed here was show product category thumbnails. And I've said no, but it still is showing them. Let's get rid of grid view. Maybe that's what's doing it. So I hit no. Grid view means that it's set up in rows and columns. Let's see what we get now. Now we're getting it. So that's a little bit confusing on the back end. Now we're getting a hierarchical view of our categories. But on here, it's really that we took off the grid view and thumbnails. Let's put the thumbnails back in there. I clicked yes, and I saved changes. So we've got grid view off. Trying to keep track of all our variables here. We've got grid view off, and we've got images turned on. So now what we're getting is the individual titles messed up underneath the grid view. It's a very unusual structure. So let's go back here. All right, we need to have product category settings. We want grid view on, thumbnails on, and then we save. And I think that's going to get rid of our titles. There we are. All right. So clearly, I don't have a good way of showing titles and images at the same time. You would have to mess with, as you could see there, it was basically a list of the products' names. You'd have to mess with the CSS to get that to work underneath these images. It might work in a different theme, a different way. I'm in 2011 right now, but that's something you'll have to play around with. All right. But right out of the box, there's only one view that really works well, I think, and that's this one with the images in it and no description underneath or anything like that. Now, we could just get rid of the categories altogether. Let's do that for the moment because I want to show you something else here. So now we've gotten rid of categories. The other thing you can do in your catalog view here is you can show the featured products. And it explains here that it's above the products page or above the catalog. So let's save our changes here, and I'll show you what this looks like. We have one item featured right now, and it turns out to be the big oval platter, which is the first item in our list, but that's okay. So it shows you a very large version of the image plus this. And that's going to show that for one featured image. They don't really explain that there, but it's one featured image at a time. If you have multiple featured images, it will rotate in there, okay? Let's take a quick look in products here, and we'll do that. Let's select another featured image here. Let's say the Summer Breeze one. I click on that, so they're both featured now. When I refresh, see how it goes between the two? It doesn't show all of them or anything like that. That's where the widget, putting in that plugin that has a widget for the sidebar that's not built into WP E-Commerce, but you can add a plugin that creates a widget on the side to show multiple featured products all at one time. Well, this is pretty messy, isn't it, visually? And one of the things we're going to do in other videos is talk about how to make changes to this through your style sheet, through some template files as well. Personally, I don't think I would use this featured products the way it is right now, but you do have that option, and it's turned off and on here under your display featured product, okay? So the other thing to look at here is I want to take a look at a way to have a grid view. Notice our products right now are one right under another, and that's getting pretty crazy, especially as you add more and more products. We're going to take a look at what's called grid view, columns and rows of products. And for the past while, it's only been possible to do that through a paid plugin. There is a free plugin now that'll do it. I'll take a look at that in a separate video.